There are 41 students. I will start off with. Are you guys here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll start off with fundamentals of algorithm. Okay. What was our yesterday's class discussion?
Introduction to CSE.
It was just basics of CSE, and we were supposed to discuss whether router is a machine or no. Did you all go through? Did you do some survey? Anyone?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
We can consider router as a computer since it does the algorithm like computing part to that it sends a particular form of data packet to like from one computer to other computer. Like the router distributes the data packets from the receiving computer to the sorry like from the sending computer to the receiving computer, and so
Okay.
like it in a way does the logical input to, and the so like it actually satisfies the definition of a computer, so we can call it as a computer too.
Okay, good. What's your name?
Ruchir.
Okay, well, so as Ruchi told, a router, okay, we are receiving signals and we are also communicating with it, right? So you are able to get some data that can be in the format of packets, okay. These packets are moving again through via a network, okay. If it is a Wi-Fi, if you are using it is between, it is just in 100 meters vicinity, or if it is a LAN in a organization, you are able to communicate, right? So in that perspective, we can say it acts as a computing device. Clear? So we'll come back to our next session called as algorithms. So any idea what is algorithm? Okay. Okay, well, so in our session 0, I told you that we will be the final outcome of this course is you will be able to design, correct, you will be able to implement. So first one is you should be able to design, implement, test and validate it. These are the three terms we used to say that we will be solving a problem. Correct. To solve a problem, first we are going to design and then implement, or it is also called as development of a program. And then we will be testing it and validate whether whatever inputs we have given is, is the expected outcome or no. All those things we will be checking. To do that, that means in order to design a problem statement, we are using something called as algorithms. Clear? So basically, let us take for a task. Okay. Consider a number between and any odd number between 1 to 9. Okay. So what are the odd numbers between 1 to 9? 1, 3, 5, and 7. These are the odd numbers between 1 to 9.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Consider any odd number in a series between 1 to 9 and then multiply it by 2 for the odd number and then add it by 7. Do this. So now first odd number between 1 to 9 is 1. 1 into 2 is 2. 2 plus 7 is 9. Second odd number is 3. Correct? 3 into 2 is 6. 6 plus 7 is
13.
30. Again, we have the next odd number. Others kindly mute. We have a next odd number that is 5. Multiply by 2. 5 into 2, you will have the value as 10. So 10 plus 7 is 17. And then we have a next number which is 7. 7 into 2 is 14. 14 plus 7 is 21, right? So what did we do here exactly? We What is the first step? What we did?
Take odd numbers from 1 to 9.
Okay, that is your first step, right? So what will be your next step?
Multiplying by 2.
Multiply,
Multiply
Multiplying by 2.
2. What is the next step?
Adding
add
7.
7.
Adding
And
7.
7.
Adding yes.
This you did for one number, that is the first number. Then again you will do what? You will repeat the same thing for number 3. Correct. So totally how many steps we have? 4. Step number 1, you have to take odd numbers between 1 to 9. Step number 2, multiply that odd number with 2, and then you are adding it with 7. And then you will repeat the same thing for other odd numbers. So like this, when you start writing steps for the problem, whatever is given, that is called as algorithm. To solve a problem, if you are able to write, if you're able to write a path, okay, this is how I'm going to solve it. It is called as algorithm. Okay. It can be a finite number of instructions, or if it is infinite number of instructions, there is no end to your program. Okay. So generally we will call it as an algorithm is nothing but you have a finite number of instructions. So in further classes you will learn what do you mean by instructions. Before, if you're not comfortable with instructions, you can tell it's a finite list of rules that we are going to follow to solve a problem, and then we will perform the task. Is it clear? So we'll go to the next slide. So I told you in a session objectives is nothing but what we are going to cover in this session. So explain the process of arriving at a explain the problem of arriving at a computer solution. So that means given a problem statement. Just now I told you take odd numbers between 1 to 9, multiply it by 2, and then add 7. That means that was the problem statement which I gave you. You can solve it in any manner you want. Okay. So you should explain that process, how you are thinking to solve that problem. So that is the first bullet. We will go through slowly what is the depth meaning of it. Next, describe the basic features of a computer algorithm. So there are some rules to write an algorithm. Just now we wrote steps of it, but if you really want to write a pseudocode to an algorithm, then there are few rules. We will follow that and write it. Explain the role of memory in a computer program and hence the use of a variable in algorithms. So if I want to add any number or multiply any number, that number should be stored in a memory. So how it will be stored using a variable in our Python programming, how we are utilizing it is what we will cover in today's class. So next, the contents as usual, it is algorithms, role of memory and its impact on computer algorithms. So next we have a problem. So he has given 9-digit number, we will be multiplying with 9-digit number. Take this number, okay, do manual calculations on your notebook, record the time. Okay, so let's start it. So now currently the time is 8:39. Okay, write down the numbers and solve it in hand. Don't calculate it, solve it in hand. 4 into 2, 4 into 8, 4 into 3, 4 into 7, 4 into 3, 4 into 8, 4 into 9, 4 into 2, 4 into 1. Do that. So your time starts now, it's 8:40. We will see how long you will take. Are you doing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
record the
Yes, ma'am.
time when once you start. Finished?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, done. 9 minutes.
Okay. Others? Let's see the answer. Is the answer tallying with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How about others? Are you still doing it?
Done, ma'am.
Almost there, ma'am. Almost.
Sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Done? Okay.
Yes, ma'am, done.
Yes, ma'am, done.
Done, ma'am.
Okay.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Okay.
Done, ma'am.
So what is the time taken?
9
10
minutes.
minutes, ma'am.
10 minutes.
10 minutes,
10
ma'am.
minutes.
10 minutes, ma'am.
10 minutes, ma'am.
So what is the accuracy? Did everyone get the right answer?
Yes, ma'am. I got the right answer.
Okay. Anyone's
Yes,
mistake?
ma'am. Got the right answer.
Yes, ma'am, got the right answer.
Yes, ma'am, got the right answer.
You're so very efficient. Huh? So what was the outcome after solving this problem?
It takes a lot of time.
I'm very time taken.
Okay. Time taken. Done.
And
Anyone?
one and ma'am,
It
and
is
one
not
mistake.
100% accurate, ma'am. I made a step wrong.
Okay. Good. Then, so what did you follow here? Did you follow any procedure?
Multiplying from the last to last number types.
Yes.
Like 4 into the entire number, 2 into the entire number.
Can I say the rightmost bit is multiplied with the dividend value from left to right to left, and
Yes,
then the
ma'am.
Yes,
minus
ma'am.
one bit of this is again multiplied. So this each this each value is called a subproduct. And once done, I added all this so that I got a product. Correct? So what we did, I told you to do, I gave you a problem saying multiply a 9-digit number with a one more 9-digit number. So here what you did, since you were knowing it from your schooling that you have to multiply it from the rightmost bit to all the leftmost bits. Okay, so you followed some procedure saying I'll be taking the rightmost bit and then multiplying each and every bit from right to left of the dividend. And then you also knew that if, once you get a subproduct, n number of subproducts, you can add it and then you started giving the value. Okay, this is how, given a problem, you're taking some steps. You're able to write some steps. Okay, if you're able to write a step one by one in a sequence and get an accurate answer, then we will call it as a problem solving approach. Okay, it is also called as an algorithm since you are writing step by step, that is finite sequence in a series that is able to perform a task. So let's see, what did we do? As told before, just now, we have wrote down the numbers onto your notebook. Then you started multiplying all the digits of first number with single digit of the second number. We just called it as dividend and divisor. Then we told write the result with offset. Offset is nothing but here carry. Okay, if required, if there was a carry, then you started writing it, and then you repeated this previous two steps for the next digit. Correct? So after doing with 4, you repeated with 2. After doing with 2, you repeated with 3. So that's why I'm writing repeat the previous two steps for each digit of the second number again. After that, again you went to the next number. After getting all the sum products, subproducts, here every time I repeat the process, I'm getting one subproduct. After getting all the subproduct, you have summed up. So this is my final result, correct? So this is what we did. So that is called as problem solving or problem development. So we took a problem, that is, this was my problem. I told multiply 9-digit number with 9-digit number. So this was a problem. So next you solved it step by step. That means you used a rule saying I'll take the first number of the first 9-digit and then multiply with the single digit of the second number. So that is your step-by-step solution. So which is called as algorithm. After doing this, we have something called as high-level language. We will go through it next. So till here, is it clear for you? So we took a problem, we solved it, we wrote steps for it. That is called as an algorithm. We'll come back to high-level language, or we'll come back to program and executable machine later. So next, there is one more example, design and develop a program to find factorial of a number. This takes a little time. We'll get back to this session after 2-3 classes. Just neglect the 7th slide and 8th slide. We'll directly go to the program. Did you all install Wing IDE?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Can you access it right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Open your Wing IDE. Anyone without Wing IDE? Anyone without Wing IDE? No one? Okay, good, great. So most of you know, what is this mode? Is it a script mode or interactive mode?
Ma'am, interactive mode.
Interactive mode.
So there is a 3 greater than symbol, which is called as chevron. Okay. So overall, this is your Wing IDE, which we'll be using for your lab. And here, this is an interactive mode, which is nothing but if I ask a question, it immediately gives me a reply. And it is not stored when I close this Wing IDE. It basically acts as a temporary memory. Just to check some logics, I'll be using this interactive mode. So let us add, multiply, subtract and divide two numbers. So let me take those two numbers as 2 and 3. If I do 2, even enter, value is 5. So what it is doing, it is taking the input as 2 and 3 and then it is performing addition using a plus symbol, correct? So do for other values, 2 minus 3, 2 into 3. So we did plus, minus, multiplication and division. If I do the same thing before doing that, this is an interactive mode. If you want to do here, which is called as script mode, this is called as script mode. First, what you have to do, you have to create a new file. So go to file, go to new. So you got a new file here. Here you want to save the script. Script is nothing but you are writing one in a letter type and you want to save this program. So what you do, or go to file and give save as. Wherever you want you save. Go to desktop, create a new folder. Okay. Go to desktop, create a new folder. Write it as first sem or anything, whichever is in your compatible place. So open the folder. So this is my first program. First, and .py is the extension of Python. So like your .c, okay, this .py is an extension for your Python program, and I'm saving it. So can you observe here the arrow mark where I'm showing? First program.py is my file name. So now if I want to do the same set of operations in the script mode, we will see what will happen. I gave 2 plus 3 and gave an enter. It didn't give me any answer, okay, because it is a script mode. I just gave 2 into 3, 2 minus 3, nothing, it is not me anything. Okay, well, so let me run and check. This is a run symbol, the highlighted one, the blue color, sorry, green color, run or debug the contents of the editor within the Python shell. So I'll give a run.
Syntax error.
Okay, it's not showing me anything here. Correct? Did you observe? That means there is something wrong. So here in the script mode, you can't directly write the variables and operators. You have to write what it should do. That is why we will call it as script mode. Okay, we'll go back, and what we will do, we have some statement called as print statement. We will further get back to it. That is your output statement. Print of opening and parenthesis. This syntax you don't worry, I will teach you later. Print 2 plus. Now let us check. Let us run it and check. So did you see? I got an answer as 5. Correct. So what I'm telling here, print is nothing but I want the value, whatever the evaluated value, this value to be printed in my output screen. So this is the syntax basically. Print is a word. We will learn it later what type of word it is. Opening and closing parenthesis. Inside this, you are giving an argument saying, please perform addition of 2 and 3. You can also write it as print, since I'm not understanding, using double quotes, give some message over there. Message can be anything, and with understanding. Okay. And then separate this message using comma, and then give you whatever you want to perform. So now we will check. Did you, my first print of 2 comma 3 gave me an answer as 5. Second statement, print of, I have given a message saying addition of 2 numbers, that has been printed here. And then I have given, separated with a comma, I have given a value that is nothing but 2 plus 3, and it is printed here. So anything inside inverted commas is just a message. Okay. So now did you understand the whole process? Why did I do to show you? This is your script mode, okay, and this is your interactive mode. Once you run the program, this will act as an output box. So we'll go back to the slide. So this is an example here. Can you see here? It is written as spider IDE and a script file. Clear? Don't worry about the content. He is just showing you this is the script mode, and this here is your interactive mode. Here I am using spider as an IDE. IDE you will learn later. Okay, that is nothing but the where we are going to write the program. Which we use is Wing IDE. So next I have executable code. For example, we have written in our program print 2 plus 3. But in our yesterday's discussion, we told whatever we give, it is in whatever computation we give, the finally it will be converted into zeros and ones. Correct? So that means even if I give here as a plus b, A and B are zeros and it will be converted into zeros and ones. So here we have executable code. Once I give run, whenever I give a command as run, it will be converted into zeros and numbers. So that we will call it as executable. This is an example of that executable. Are you following?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What are algorithms and what is called as program? So we just discussed an algorithm is nothing but a sequence of steps or procedure to solve a problem. Or you can write algorithm is a step-by-step process to solve a problem. Or you can write algorithm is having a finite step in order to solve a problem and to get a particular answer. Okay. Anyway, you can write the definition of an algorithm. There is no rule that you have to write it in the same way. Next, we have a procedure for solving a problem consists of actions to be executed, order in which these actions to be executed. In which order do you want the algorithm to be executed? Is it a sequential order or it can be jumbled up order?
Sequence. Yeah.
Sequence.
Sequence, ma'am.
It should be in the format of sequence because we are following step by step process. Clear? Next, what is a program? Any idea? Okay, so whatever algorithm we have written to solve a problem, okay, if I want to express it in a programming language, I use some high level language because I understand only English or any mother tongue, whatever I am using. But if I am able to write in my understanding language, then we will call it as a program. Okay, so an algorithm to solve a problem and it is expressed in a programming language using any high level languages, then we will call it as a computer program. Next is what are the characteristics of an algorithm? We just told it should be finite number of steps. Why it should be finite number of steps? Because it will never terminate if it is not finite. I don't want my algorithm to be in an infinite loop where I don't get any answer. So I told it should be finiteness. An algorithm must always terminate after a finite number of steps. So first, to write an algorithm, okay, I want it to give me some output. For the output to be displayed, I should give some input. So there is an input, it can accept 0 or any number of inputs. Output, it should produce at least one output. If it is not showing any output, I don't know what my program is doing or what my algorithm is doing. So first characteristics is we should be able to provide an input and I should be able to see the output. Correct? Next is definiteness. What do you mean by definiteness? If just now in your wing ID, when I wrote just 2 plus 3, okay, did it give me any answer?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Defined it properly, correct? I should be able to write the program in a defined manner. To do that, we will call it as definiteness. Each step of an algorithm must be precisely defined. If it is not defined, it is not giving me output. We discussed about finiteness and then effectiveness. I can't write an algorithm which repeats the same step again and again. For example, here I told repeat the two steps until the number reaches the last digit. I can't repeat these two steps again here. I mean, I can't write it again and again here. Instead, I'm writing one simple block saying repeat these two steps again. Okay, so that is your effectiveness. Steps must be simple and it can be done exactly and in a finite length of time by person using a pencil and paper. That is your effectiveness of a program. So these are your characteristics of an algorithm. Asked a question, write an algorithm and its characteristics. You have to list this. Next comes to your memory, storage and variable. Okay. So what are the different types of memories we discussed yesterday?
Primary, secondary, and cache.
Primary, secondary, and cache.
What is primary?
And temporary memory, RAM, like RAM, just got deleted after we switch off the laptop or computer.
So all the data will be erased once the
Yes.
power is off. That's why we call it as temporary, and then it is also called as primary. What about secondary?
But it's a
Pen
Yeah.
drive, hard disk, permanent
Hard disk,
storage.
hard disks,
Hardware, correct. What is cache?
Cloud memory,
So in between memory present between while switching from primary to secondary.
Okay, good.
memory between CPU and main memory.
Okay. Cache is nothing but immediate storage of data. If you have performed A plus B, immediately the value of A and B will be stored in cache. That is your cache memory. So now he is asking, that is how we defined what is memory and what is storage and variables is what we will be discussing. So here, can you see there is a computer memory. Here I have some 1 to 1024 spaces. So this again you will learn in further classes why it is 1024, why it will be 1048 or 2050, etc. You will learn it in the further classes. So a computer store values in its memory, which we know. When it stores the value in the memory, if I want to use that value from the memory, there should be some name to this. I should be able to give some name for it. Okay, this one here. This is the data which is present. I should be able to give some name for it. So I'm telling 2 is the name and the data is 2. It can be 2, 3, anything. So here the data is 129837382. This data is stored in the variable A. So if I want the content of this, I will just ask it to print the A value. Then all this data will be printed. Correct. So now our next question is, how are we storing this into a memory? A Python is OOPS based language. That is nothing but object oriented programming language. Okay. So again we will learn about object oriented programming language later. You just remember Python is OOPS based. Okay. So any value which is stored in a memory has some name and address to it. That name we will call it as variable. Okay. We have a next slide. So this is how we store. This whole thing is called as object. Object we will learn further. This is called as object. So here int is a data type. Okay. Again repeating, integer, float, string, all are data types which you will learn further. As of now, you remember int is nothing but all the natural numbers from 0 to 9. We will learn what is int later. So here I have a value that is called as 5. The name for that value is num and it is referencing to this object. Since the data is 5, it is between 0 to 9. We are calling it as integer data type. So now num is a name. Okay. In this name, the data which is stored is 5 and this equals to is nothing but your assignment value. So now, for example, if I write A equals to 2, write an object for this. I will draw a box. Okay. What is the value? It is 2. 2 is in between 0 to 9, and it doesn't have integer part, sorry, decimal part. It is only integer. So I will call it as int data type, and the name for this is given as A. So I'll write it as A. Okay. So this is a variable which is pointing at the value 2, and the data type is int. Correct? So the variable num here refers to an integer object instance. Again, object and instance we will learn in further classes, containing the value which is called as 5. Did you understand the meaning of variable?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, we have swapping of two numbers. So for example, let me take A equals to 10, B equals to 20. Okay, this is my value before. So can we draw an object to this? Write a block. The value is 10. Which data type is this? Int.
Int, ma'am.
Integer.
And the variable name for this is
A.
A. I have one more block. The variable name is B. And the data is 20. Data type is int. Okay. Now, I want to swap two numbers. Okay. What do you mean by swapping?
Interchange.
The value of
Replacing
A
two
and B is
numbers.
replaced.
Interchanging.
Interchange. That means A should have the value of B. B should have the value of A. So instead of 10 here, I want the value to be 20. Instead of 20 here, I want the value to be 10. Correct? Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Can you write the steps for it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So what was the thing? Initially, the value of A was 10 and B was 20. But after the result, I want the value of A to be 20 and B to be 10. So if I transfer A equals to B, that means if I send the contents of A to B, what will happen to the B value? It will become 10. The original A is 10, B is also 10. This is not a right swapping technique. So we will see step by step. So I have sent A is equal to B. Now B is also having 10, which is wrong. Again, I'll send B equals to A. Again, 20 is getting stored here. So which is again wrong. That means I'm not able to swap two numbers using only two variables, right? If I do addition and subtraction methods, I can swap two numbers using only two variables. If I use addition, subtraction, multiplication and division of a number. So what we did, we took one more variable called as temp. First we told we will store A into temporary, and then we sent the value of B to A, and then whatever was stored in temp, that is the value of A, is stored to A, which is swapped. So what is the value of A? 20, B is 10. So both are swapped. Agreed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now write steps for this algorithm. What you will do?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you please explain again the swapping?
You're able to observe there are A and B values.
Yes,
A
ma'am.
is 10, B is 20. So I will send the value of B. Look at the example here. I'm saying assign the value of A to B. What is the value of A? 10. I'm transferring that 10 to B. So now the B value is 10. So both A and B are 10. So if both are having the same value, swapping is not done. So second, what I will do, I will send B value to A. What is the value of B? It is 20.
20.
I'm sending it to A means both A and B will be 20. Again, it is not swapped. So if I'm not able to swap using two variables, I took one more variable saying temp. I told store the value of A, that is 10, to temporary variable. So temp is having A. The value of A is safe now. It is in the variable temp. So now I will transfer the B value, that is 20, to A. I am writing transfer the contents of B to A. What is the content of B? 20. It is transferred to A. So my first condition is satisfied. That means A is having 20. Now B should have 10. If B should have 10, I should go check where that 10 is. Where is the 10 located? It is in temporary variable. Correct? The value is
Yes,
in
ma'am.
temp. So I will write it as temp, put the value into B. So now my B is having the value of 10. So both are swapped, A and B.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is swapping of two numbers. So what is step
Thank you.
number one? When I write an algorithm, what is step number one here?
Taking another variable temp.
Take another variable temp. What is step number two?
Transferring the value of A to
Transfer the
10.
value of temp to A. So value of A to temp. Step number three, value of B to A.
A.
Step number four, value of
Value
temp
of temp to B.
Temp to B.
and then stop. That's all is your algorithm. Given a problem, you solve it and write the steps. Okay. Next is something called as pseudocode. This is also called as algorithm. Okay, but not right now. Let us not go into this. Okay. Now, this is your assignment. I mean, right now you have to do write an algorithm using steps. Calculate sum of two numbers, area of circle, largest of three numbers. Write down these three algorithms. Write the steps to it.
I'm done.
Done? Okay.
Yes.
So what did we do? Let me write in interactive mode how to swap two numbers. We wrote A equals to 10, E equals to 20, and if I just give A and give an enter, it will print the value of it. If I give B and give an enter, it will print the value of it. But what is our question? We have to swap two numbers. There is nothing assigned in temporary, that's why it gave you an error. Initially, let me call temp is equal to 0. If I give temp, the value of temp is 0. Correct? So what was our first step?
Assign a
Assign the
variable
value
temp.
of A to
Assign
temp.
So what I'll write, temp is equal to A.
temp is equal to A.
So the value of A is transferred to temp. So if I enter, I want to check now what is the value of T. So I'll write it as temp. The value of temp is changed from 0 to 10. So now what is my second step? I will write
B is equal to
A
A
equals
is
to
equal
B.
to B.
A is equal to A or A equals to B.
B. B equals to A.
It is 10 now.
A
What is the
is
value of
equal to
A?
B.
A is also 10. Did I swap?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Right.
no, ma'am.
Shall I write A equals to B?
Yes, ma'am.
Both are same. So what happened? I've changed the value of B right there. So in the memory, it is updated from 20 to 10. My value of B is updated to 20 to 10. So since I've given a wrong instruction, it happened. So now I will write B equals to 20. Correct? The contents of B should be transferred to A. So now I'll write A equals to B. So now I'll check what is the value of A. A is 20. B is also 20. I want the value of B to be changed to 10. Where it is stored? It is stored in.
10.
So
In
B equals
temp.
to 10.
Temp.
What is the value of B now? 10.
10.
The value of A is 20, the value of B is 10. This is how you have to solve the problem using Wing IDE so that you will understand the logic in a more better way. So what was the next question? Sum of two numbers, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Calculate the sum of two numbers. So first I will initialize two numbers. I will tell A equals to, not on A, let me call Z is equal to 10, X is equal to 10. I want to calculate Z plus X. So after calculating, I have to store it somewhere. So I will tell A. A is equal to Z plus X. Z is 10, X is 10, 10 plus 10 is 20. It is stored in A. So if I print A, it should give me the answer as. So what did I do? How do I write an algorithm? First step, start. Second step, initialize the value X and Y, or initialize the value, the first number and second number. Third step is add the first number and second number and store it in third variable, that is third number, and print that number. Finally, it is stop. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay, what is the next step? Calculate the area of a circle. What is the formula of area of a circle?
Pi r
R
square.
square.
Pi r
Square.
square.
Pi r square. So, what are the values in, what is the value of pi?
3.14.
3.14.
3.141.
R square is nothing but r into r, correct? So, I want the variable r. So, I will write r equals to 2. Okay. And they asked me to calculate area. So, area is equal to, my value of pi is 3.14
141.
into, I'll do r into r. R square, I've written it as r into r. So it will take r value. So now I want the value. And it is showing me as 12.56. So r is 4, sorry 2, 2 into 2. 3.14 into 2 into 2 is 12.56. The area value is 12.56. How to write the algorithm for it? Step 1 is start, correct? Step 2 is initialize the radius value, that is r. Step 3 is area is equal to pi into r, and then print area. Finally, last step is stop. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Next
ma'am.
is find the largest of three numbers. So what is the logic to find the largest of three numbers? If first number, I will write it in Word document. So if I want to find largest of three numbers, I will check whether the first second number and what else I should check. And first number,
That first number is also greater than the third number.
correct? If this is logic is right, okay, if first number is greater than second number, if it is true, and if first number is greater than third number, what is my answer? First number is greatest, correct? If this is false, then I will check with second number and third number, correct? That we will solve after performing conditional statements. This we will solve after performing looping statements. So far, I think it is clear. Now we will go here. Here also swapping of two numbers is written in an algorithm. This algorithm is nothing but it is not in the format of steps, but it is in the format of pseudo code. So here the format is, first you will write algorithm and the algorithm name. What is the algorithm name? Swap. How many variables I am using in swapping of two numbers? A, B and
B
temp.
and temp.
So that's why I'm telling var variable A, B and temp. And then I used colon A, which data type it is. So we all know it is an integer data type. So I have written it as integer. Whenever you are writing a logic, we have begin and end inside it. So this is my logic. Temp is A is stored in temp, B is stored in A, and back temp is B. So we'll write an algorithm to add two numbers. So first, what is my first step? Algorithm is the name. Next, I have to write algorithm name. Sum of two numbers. I'll give an end. Variables I have to sum of two numbers. Use A, comma, B, comma, and I want to store it in. And since I am writing an algorithm, I am assuming it is a integer data type. Okay, so variable names separated by colon and data type. Give an enter. I'll be writing a logic, so I'll give begin. Give an enter. Space. C. Okay. First I will write A equals to 10, B equals to 20, so that's it. My algorithm is done. Whenever required, if the question is asked to write it in the format of pseudocode, you should write it like this. If it is asked to write in steps, you will write it in the format of steps. If it is not asked anything, it is your choice. You can write it in steps or pseudocode. So this ends with your algorithms. So coming to summary, we just learned what is an algorithm. Okay, is a set of explicit and unambiguous finite steps. Okay, you can write it in any format you want, which when carried out for a given set of initial conditions, produce the corresponding output and terminate in a finite time. Next is computer programs work with memory, and we also checked how to store that value into the memory. Computer solutions are called as programs, okay, or we also told an algorithm which we are able to express in the format of high level language is called as a program. So a program is a set of explicit and ambiguous instructions expressed in a programming language. We will go through what is an instruction. Let's go through the first objective. Explain the process of arriving at a computer solution. We solved this. Describe the basic features of a computer algorithms. So you can write characteristics of an algorithm here. So what are the characteristics? Input, output, finiteness, definiteness, and effectiveness. Explain the role of a memory in a computer program and hence the use of variable in algorithms. So you can draw the objects, you can say the variable name, data type, what is that data type, how it is stored, etc. You can write. So this ends with fundamental of algorithms. Any doubts so far?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay. So we were familiarized with IDE, that is Wing IDE. This is your interactive mode. This is your script mode. Okay. So we perform few arithmetic operations, 2 plus 3, 2 minus 3, 2 into 3. I request you to do all these operations. You can write it down. 15 division 6, 15 double division 6, 2 double star 3, 10 modulus 3. Okay, and okay, till here it's fine. Only the 4 operations you can perform. I'm putting in a chat the question. Perform this 15 cross 6, division 6, 15 double division 6, 2 into 2, 10 modulus of 3. Others may, okay. Okay, next. Okay, rest all we will do it in the next class. So far, is it clear to you all?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Want
Yes,
to
ma'am.
go slow
Yes,
or
ma'am.
is the pace okay?
It's
No, ma'am,
fine.
it's okay, ma'am.
Pace is okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It's okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Fine, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Many of you are attending my class for the second time, right? Most
Yes,
of you are.
ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
bored. Are you bored of listening again?
No, ma'am.
Definitely not.
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
It's a
No, ma'am.
revision.
Okay, well, okay then. Fine. Thank you. We will meet again on. Today I have class at 12:55 to 1:45, which I'll not be taking as I took it at 8:15. Okay. Um, and you don't have.
Tomorrow we have lab.
No, I'll not be taking. I took it on Monday, right? So
Okay.
from now on, whenever there is a class, I will intimate you.
Okay, ma'am.
So let's not
Okay,
follow
ma'am.
um, timetable for time being. Okay, after your offline classes, if at all, if it starts, then we will follow the timetable. Else, I will intimate you. Definitely, I'll be covering 1 lab and 3 theory hours. Most of the time, Monday morning you will have lab. Tuesday, first 2 hours, you will have theory. Monday afternoon, you will have theory. Okay, rest all we will check. Whenever required, I will take one more class.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Meet
Okay,
again in
ma'am.
the next week. Okay, or this week, if at all, if required, I will take a class.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Ma'am.
you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.